Back on a football Friday on Get Up, and this is an interesting game. Ravens hosting the Cardinals Sunday in a matchup of two of the league's most exciting young quarterbacks. Kyler Murray threw for 308 yards in his NFL debut. Cam Newton, the only player since the merger to throw for at least 300 in his first two games. And he'll be facing Lamar Jackson, who was 7-1 in the regular season as a starting quarterback, threw 5 touchdowns on Sunday, and obviously was spectacular as the Ravens scored a franchise record 59 points in their season opener against the Dolphins. They would need just 12 points to have the most through 2 games in franchise history. And so I want to talk a little bit about both of these offenses because we were eager to see both, and there were interesting things about both. I want to start, Jonathan Vilma, with you. You're a linebacker, and you're getting set to play Lamar Jackson this weekend after what he did to the Dolphins last week, and specifically what is the mindset going in against Lamar Jackson right now?
I don't want Lamar Jackson comfortable at all. Start the game, we are blitzing specifically. We're going to blitz him and make him flush him out of the pocket. And everyone says, well, he's fast. Why would you do that? 1, you're limiting the field. You're already narrowing it down. 2, he's not as accurate when he starts rushing specifically to his left and then trying to open back up to throw with his right hand. He can't do it at a consistent level. So I want him uncomfortable from the start of the game and make sure, look, okay, fine. Right now, he only has from the hash to the sideline to run. We can run that down and we can live for another day. But if you let him open up and he stays able to go back and forth in the pocket or out of the pocket, you have no chance.
And in concert with that, here's what I'm going to do. It's called a press bail technique. I'm going to take my corners, I'm going to walk them up on the outside of the line of scrimmage to take away the easy throw. But if you look at where he had all of his success, it was down the field to Henderson on bombs, or Brown on bombs. Like, Hollywood Brown was open all over the place, but they weren't in intermediate routes. I'm going to take away the short stuff. DBs, do not get beat over the top, whatever happens.
I've heard people suggest that this offense is totally different from what other. Is it? Is this offense so totally different from what everyone else runs?
It's a lot different than what they did with Joe Flacco, I can tell you that. This guy's ability to run, and like you said, like what they just said is get him uncomfortable, get him out of rhythm. So if you're Lamar Jackson, you got to give him easy completions. You got to let him run to his right, scramble to his right, get easy throws, and that's what defense are going to try and take away.
Isn't revolutionizing the NFL.
No. He's just a special player.
They played the Dolphins. Let's just understand.
So regardless, I get that part of it, but
yes.
How about just specifically what they're trying to do? Is it that different from what other teams are trying to do? I had Damian Woody here suggesting it's like playing a service academy team in college.
No, what they're trying to do, actually what they're doing a great job of is servicing their players. Lamar Jackson is a tremendous athlete running the ball and passing the ball, and they're utilizing both as opposed to just sticking him into one type of system.
Okay, then let's get to the quarterback that he'll be facing this week, and that's Kyler Murray. And it was a tale of 2 games last week. The first 3 quarters against Detroit were flat out terrible. Did his 4th quarter in overtime convince you that they're in a good place?
No, because I went back and watched the film, Greeny, and watching the 4th quarter and watching overtime, you're seeing a defensive line for the Lions that was exhausted. They weren't getting any pressure on him. He had tons of time to throw. And then for some reason, defensive coordinators, and Matt Patricia is a very intelligent guy, they choose to just back up and give guys easy access throws. So it looked a lot like the preseason to him again. And that's why you're able to see young quarterbacks have success in 2-minute situations at the end of the game because they're seeing a consistent picture with easy access throws.
What did you see from Kyler Murray, Mark?
I love what I saw in the 4th quarter. But to Bobby's point, there were some easy throws in there. A good pick play that we saw that's technically illegal, but well executed. I think I want to see more of it. It's too small of a sample size for me to say at this point, but I just got to see more.
It's a very good defense he's playing against this weekend, obviously, in the Ravens. Are you sold on Kyler Murray? You obviously cover the college game for us, John, so you saw all of his season last year. Are you sold on Kyler Murray?
I'm not sold on Kyler Murray. I'm not sold on the offense that they're running, and I'm not sold on their defense either. So we talk about the Ravens being a better defense to step up from the Dolphins. Frankly, it's going to be the running game of the Ravens and Lamar Jackson on the other side. If they keep the ball and they let the Ravens defense get some rest, they're going to continue to play press man. They're going to continue to blitz. It's going to be tough for Kyler Murray.
All right, going to be a very interesting weekend as we go in the NFL. Meanwhile, on the college level, it's not a great weekend coming up by any means. But let me give you a little history lesson here, okay? Because 2 years ago, exactly 2 years ago, Clemson was number 4 in the country. They went north to Syracuse, and they were shocked by the Orange. 27-24, Syracuse knocked off Clemson in that game. A year later, we fast forward to last season. Syracuse goes down to Death Valley, and they gave Clemson all they could handle. It was by far the closest Clemson came to losing a game last year. Trevor Lawrence went down with a first-half injury. Clemson needed a touchdown with 43 seconds left. to escape with a win. Otherwise, for all we know, they wouldn't have even been in the playoff last year. Now, with all of that said, according to the All-State Playoff Predictor, Clemson right now has an 82% chance to make the playoff. With the win against Syracuse, that doesn't change much. But if they were to lose, their chance of making it drops all the way under 50%. That has to do a lot with the rest of the schedule they have. So, John Vilma, is this a real opportunity here?
No. No, it's not a real opportunity.
Not even close.
It's not going to happen. Syracuse defense stinks. There's a guy named Travis Etienne, the running back for Clemson, licking his chops after seeing what Maryland did to Syracuse defense. No.
Okay.
No.
I'd like to change what my question was going to be. Just to make it, there's Travis Etienne. He may actually be the best player on their team. Mark, do you think you give Syracuse a chance of making it?
Not even close. That game versus Maryland last week, their defense is so porous. I think this guy runs all over them.
Bobby, help me.
I wish I could, but they look like they're playing in the Big 12. Every time I looked up, they were scoring all over the place. And this was against Maryland in the Big Ten, not Ohio State, against Maryland. And I know Loxley's done a good job there, but they are still miles away as far as talent to where they could potentially be, and they scored all over them.
But here's the issue that I have is that, I mean, going into all summer long, I kept hearing, well, you know, Clemson will have two tough games, Texas A&M and Syracuse. Well, they just beat Texas A&M easily, and now you're telling me Syracuse isn't even a game. We might as well just put Clemson in the national playoff semifinal and move on with our lives.
Wrote it in pencil.
Fair enough. Let's see if Syracuse can rise up and stun the world and shut all these guys up. It's the ABC primetime game of the week. It's Saturday night. You'll see Trevor Lawrence. You will see Clemson taking on Syracuse. It's tomorrow night, 7:30 Eastern on ESPN and on the ESPN app. All right, let me run the bases quickly through the American League wildcard race. The A's beating Justin Verlander to take the final game of a 4-game series in Houston, 3-2. Matt Olson, his 32nd home run of the year, was the big blow. After losing the opening game of the series 15-0, Oakland rebounded to win 3 in a row. Meanwhile, the Rays lost their second straight game, this one coming at Texas. So they fall out of the top American League wildcard spot. A former Rays prospect, Nick Solak, went deep for the second time in 3 games for the Rangers. He leads all baseball rookies in hits and runs scored since he was called up on August the 20th. So where does this leave us? The A's now have the advantage in the American League wildcard race. They're a game up in the loss column on both the Rays and Indians. They don't play a team with a winning record the rest of the year, starting tonight in Texas, while the Indians open a home series against the Twins, and the Rays are in L.A. to take on Mike Trout and the Angels. Okay, more coming on this Football Friday on Get Up. Why did Ron Rivera take the ball out of Cam's hands on the biggest play of the night? You've got that question. We've got it answered. On the way, it's Get Up on ESPN.